Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's Zoning Board of Appeals hearing. Before we begin, let me introduce some members of town government that act as advisors to this board. To my left is Simone Friedman, Deputy Town Attorney. To her left is Matt Calato, Principal Planner with the Planning Department. To his left is Jeff Cannon Geyser, who was a planner in the Planning Department. And to his left is Sabrina Dubatito, a senior environmental analyst with the Department of Environmental and Waterways. We are here this evening seeking relief from the town zoning ordinance. New York State statute requires that any town that adopts zoning must also have a board of appeals to act as a relief valve so that the persons can seek relief without the expense of legal proceedings. The most common kind of application before this board are area variances. Area variances deal with dimension of lot area, frontage, height, setbacks, and parking reductions. New York State statute mandates that the board must consider the following 5 criteria when evaluating area variances. When you come to the podium to present your application, please do your best to address these 5 criteria. Number 1, whether an undesirable change will be reduced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created. Number 2, whether the applicant has other feasible alternatives. Number 3, whether the variance is substantial. 4, whether the adverse impact on the environment will be created. And number 5, whether the alleged difficulty is self-created. The board also has the authority to grant special exceptions, also known as special use permit or conditional use permits. This is a use that is permitted by zoning, but on specific conditions designed to ensure compatibility with the surrounding area and overall zoning plan. If all the general and specific requirements are met, this board must approve the application. If they are not, the board must deny, unless they require variances. At that point, the 5 considerations and balancing test shall be applied. The board has the power to impose unreasonable conditions that relate to variances. Regarding procedure, case will be called in order they are advertised. When your case is called, please come forward, submit your affidavits and mailing receipts to Mr. Calato, and then you will be given the opportunity to explain to the board why the variance is needed. Again, please address the 5 considerations. After the applicant is done speaking, all interested parties will be given the opportunity, and only one opportunity, to be heard. Please organize your thoughts and keep your remarks factual, related to the case, as well as the variances being sought. Then we will ask the applicant to come back to the podium to address your concerns. The board will then close the case and reserve decision. After all the hearings are closed, the board will review cases and decide some of them. Others will be reviewed at a later date. There are 3 ways to find out about your case. The first is you can wait until the public hearing, but there is no guarantee that the board will act on your case tonight. Second, you can check the website after 11 o'clock tomorrow. The third is the application can wait and be notified by mail. After the case is closed, no additional information or testimony can be submitted. We do have case 19468, Development Disabilities Institute. That has been withdrawn. Is anybody here for that case? Next case is case 19469, Kamala. It's on Burlington Boulevard, Smithtown. That has been adjourned to February 24th. Is anyone here for that case? Okay, thank you so much. Matt, thank you.
Good evening, members of the Board of Zoning Appeals. The first case for tonight is case 19459, Susan Dietrich. Location is 174 Main Street in Kings Park. It's on the southwest corner of Main Street and Burr Avenue. The property is zoned central business. The request is a variance to reduce the minimum rear yard setback from 50 feet to 31 feet for proposed 127 square foot and 393 square foot first floor additions. Reduce the required rear yard buffer to a residential zone from 50 feet to 15 feet for a proposed 960 square foot open covered pavilion. Reduce minimum parking from 30 to 18 spaces. Permit outdoor dining area to be located within 150 feet of any residence district. Permit a fence or wall higher than 4 feet attached to an open covered pavilion for a proposed change of use from retail to a bar tavern.
Okay.
Good evening, members of the board.
Could I have your name and address, please?
My name is Susan Dietrich. I live, you want the business address?
That's fine.
174 Main Street, Kings Park, New York.
Okay, thank you. Would you like this gentleman to speak for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I introduce him, or?
I have to get his name and address
Okay.
and everything. Yeah, may I have your name and can you spell your last name for
Sure.
me?
My name is Joseph Artusa, Artusa.
And your address?
My address is 769 Dogwood Avenue, West Hempstead, New York.
Thank you, okay. You want to tell us why you're here?
Sure. We are proposing two side additions, and an open pavilion for a wine bar and tavern. The amount of square footage is about a 320 square foot in total addition. The pavilion is 960 square feet with outdoor seating. The impact on the environment is zero. We are slated for new sewer connections and a grease trap, so no cesspools will be needed. We did the architectural renderings of the building exterior is to maintain the existing characteristic of what's the structure is there now. And also the open air pavilion will also consist of the same color and proportion to the roof, and be under the height of 18 feet. All of which we feel is an enhancement to the property and will coexist with all of the surrounding areas. We have outdoor areas as well, so there's going to be a tremendous amount of green space, also lending to the same characteristic of what it is right now.
Okay. Gentlemen, do you have any questions to ask? Planning?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on this application? Please come forward. Hello. I need your name and address, please. First, give me your name.
Nice to meet you. 23 Burr Avenue, Kings Park.
I need your name.
Jerry Stewart,
Spell your last name, just in case.
Stewart.
Good, thank you.
We're neighbors of this property. We're like second house in. And we've got several issues with it. Number one is they want to reduce the parking spaces from 50 or whatever it is to 18. We're already inundated with the other businesses that are there, between the dentist's office, the therapy office, the gas station, et cetera, et cetera. where they're parking all up and down the side streets. They're all over Burr Avenue, they're all over Dawson and the street next to us. So by reducing the parking spaces, that's an issue all by itself, because we're already have all of these businesses having their customers parking all up and down and, in front of our houses. It's a public street, obviously, but it's impacting the flow of traffic going back and forth. The other problem, or problem that we see may happen is if it's a restaurant bar type of situation, where is the trash going to be handled? And, that brings rodents and varmints and all kinds of things like that. Now, the properties, the way it faces is the front of the property, the buildings face 25A. The back of the buildings is directly on our property. So you want that easement to be like 15 feet instead of 100 and something feet. Where are the trash compactors going to go? They're going to probably go in back of whatever the facility is going to be, which is right on the border of our properties. The second thing is they've already built a building, and they originally we weren't aware that it was going to be a 2-story building. That's on us because we should have looked into it further. It became a 2-story building where they decided that they were going to put an apartment on top. Again, not a problem. But originally, there were not supposed to be any windows in the back of that building, which directly looks into our properties, between 21 Burr and 23 Burr and some of the other surrounding properties. After it was already built, then they decided to put windows in. So now you have windows that are directly looking straight down into our yards because there's absolutely no space between the properties. We're very small, compact areas. So that became an issue for us, but, they're peaceful, and there was nothing we could do after they already put the windows in. The second thing is the noise pollution. They have a tenant up there. Tenant is fine, we don't have any issues with them, but if they're outside in the summertime or any time, and we're in our backyard, it's like we're talking to one another face to face. The noise factor is, if they're playing a little bit of music or they're having a conversation, it's like they're sitting in our properties with us, which magnifies how many times, if they're going to put a pavilion, they're going to have music, they're going to have lighting, they're going to have 50 or more occupants drinking and having a good time and that type of thing. How is that going to impact our privacy and for us to entertain on our own properties? If it's summertime and we want to be outside and we want to have our own guests, and they have a whole, facility filled with people that are, partying and having a good time, how is that going to impact us? And then are they going to party till 9 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night? What's the cutoff going to be for that? So that's another issue. Then we would, again, I mentioned the parking. They wanted the easements to be reduced to 15 feet, which they're already on our property anyway, and there's no, it's not like you have 50-foot arborvitaes that are blocking, the sound and the view and all of that other stuff. And then once it turns into a bar or a restaurant or whatever it happens to be, that's not going, like, if they want to sell the property, that's going to stay with it. So they're going to be able to do anything they want with their property. If they were putting in a nail salon or a barber shop or, something that had a 9-to-5 type of situation, we would say, well, all right, the business has to have a business. It's a property that they're going to want to make money on. But something like this is going to impact the neighborhood from, 5 in the afternoon until midnight. So, that's an inconvenience. The light pollution. They're going to have lights on the pavilions. The pavilion's not going to be 5 feet tall. It's going to probably be 10 feet tall or something in that area. So now there's going to be lights all around. We can't even sit in our backyards or, have our windows open because the view is directly into our private properties. So, we'd have to keep our windows closed or our blinds closed because they're going to have complete view into our properties. So those are most of the issues that we have with that. I don't know how big this pavilion's going to be. I don't know what kind of entertainment they're going to have. Are they going to have live bands? Is it going to be at night? Is it going to be from 5 to 7?
I'm going to ask all these questions.
Those kind of things are really disturbing, and it's already disturbing the way it is now although they've been great neighbors, you know, they tried to accommodate as much as they could, but it's a quiet business, so we haven't had any issues. You bring in a bar restaurant, and that's going to open it up to all kinds of issues as far as the neighborhood's concerned. I'm not the only one that feels this way. Unfortunately, we don't have a great representation here. I would definitely have a petition signed if need be. But those are really concerns, mainly, like I said, parking, rodents, privacy,
Okay,
sound.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to be heard on this application? Okay, can I ask you to come back, please? And you address all these concerns
Yeah.
if you would? Thank you so much.
My pleasure. So first of all, this is not a full-scale restaurant. It only has a very limited prep kitchen and a menu, very limited. The rodent control would be as furthest away from the property, from the restaurant, and of the houses as possible. It would be in the parking lot. The pavilion is completely enclosed on the rear section of the building. Due to, we want to eliminate as much noise as possible. The materials that we're using is a fully insulated panel. They're basically 8 inches thick. It would completely, take out and mute a lot of that noise. Also, she brought up the fact of abrevieties. We are planting. If you look at our site plan, do you have the original, I do have a copy that I can share with the residents. But we are calling for abrevieties to be planted all the way throughout. The rear section, so it would eliminate, and also we're calling for on the side of the property as well. So it would eliminate sight, it would eliminate buffer noise, even more so, in addition to what the pavilion will have. Yes, that's it. We show all of the trees, all those circles, all the way around. The existing building is 5 feet from the property line. We made a concerted effort to bring that to 15 feet. We stepped it all the way forward, again, to buffer noise, light, and everything else. The pavilion, the height of and the ridge of the roof is limited to 18 feet. The open air part of it is about between 6 and 10 feet. All of that lighting will be concealed from the ceiling. So it's not going to be a blaring light. There are no spotlights that we're doing in any part of the plan. Architecturally, we tried to keep the character as much as we could. We're doing all of the existing, all of the columns and everything. We're covering. We're making it much more. It's going to look like a residential structure, which is what it is now. It's actually a story and a half with the neighbor. I can't attest to what happens with the tenant upstairs, but we're not changing that. We're not adding additional windows. We're actually removing the one window that's in the rear of the structure on the first floor right now. That's going to be covered. And if you can allow me, this is the interior of the space. That rear room.
You want to take the mic with you? You can take it with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So if you look at this rear room, this fireplace is where there's a ribbon window right presently. There will be no windows facing the neighbors, and we did that as a conservative effort. The doorway is only for egress, and we need that for safety, life and safety. So that's not going to change as well. That's already there and present. And I think that was it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I just have to say, there's not going to be any decision tonight because I still don't have Suffolk County Planning,
Okay.
all right? So I'm hoping, we'll have that by the next meeting,
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
There's one more person that wants to speak.
Oh. Now all of us, wait, you should have asked before, please. Okay, I was just going to say. Go ahead, I'll let you come up.
Hi, I'm Bob Stewart. I lived at 23 Burr Avenue. And I
Yeah.
just wanted to say, our neighborhood is a real residential neighborhood. We're not in town. We're like 2 blocks from where the stores are in town. We have a chiropractor across the street on 25A and a dentist. And these people were great that we have there now, but it's a residential neighborhood with kids and families. I don't think Kings Park needs a bar on a corner there. Put a bar in town. You know, they could take over the bar that hasn't been open in the last 6 months, or the Celtic. We really don't need it where it is. That's all I had to
Thank you
say.
so much. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing, please.
I second.
So actually moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
This one's good. You checked it. The next case is case 19460, Broadway National Group LLC. The location is 159 Adams Avenue in Hauppauge. It's on the northeast corner of Adams Avenue and Cabot Lane. The property is owned light industry. The request is a variance to reduce the minimum setback from any lot line from 10 feet to 6 feet for an accessory structure, which is a dumpster enclosure. Reduce minimum parking from 72 to 44 spaces for a proposed 23,728 square foot first floor and 2,970 square foot second floor for an industrial building.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tremarco. I represent the applicant. We've submitted the affidavits of posting and mailing to Mr. Collado. Obviously, this is in an industrial area, Adams Avenue and Cabot Avenue. This was at one time a bank building. I can't remember the name of the bank, but the bank was thrown down. This is an entirely new project which is being built there. Since it's an industrial area, we feel that it's not an undesirable change in the character of the area or a detriment to nearby properties, because that's what it is. It's all industrial, all around Adams Avenue and Cabot Avenue and the other local industrial streets. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant could be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue. I guess we could make the building a little smaller, but as you can see, this is a corner property, so it restricts our parking somewhat. And I guess if it was an interior parcel, we'd have a more space to put parking. But the parking, we don't think will be an issue. Whether the requested area variance is substantial, we think not, again, because it's a commercial property, and there are all commercial buildings around it. Whether the proposed variance would have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the area. Well, it won't. As a matter of fact, there are all sewers in the industrial park, so there's no issue with sanitary flow. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, well, there was a bank there that was not paying, well, it was paying taxes, but not helping the community at all. They closed it down, and my client has come in. I don't know if the bank was knocked down yet or not, but if it's not, it will be. And we proposed this building. We asked the board for its favorable consideration. If it has any questions, please ask.
Gentlemen, any questions?
Oh, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
Madam Chair, the application materials submitted state that a permit from the Department of Health was or will be obtained. We've asked Mr. Tremarco to provide confirmation once the application has been submitted and any supporting documents. We need that information in order to complete our environmental review. Therefore, no decision can be made tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I missed you on the first one, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Letter was emailed and mailed to you. I don't know if you've received them yet.
Do you remember when you emailed it?
Friday.
Oh, okay. We'll take care of it.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on this application? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
It's been already moved and second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
The next case is case 19461 Lucky Plat Equities, LLC. Location is 350 Kennedy Drive in Hauppauge. It's on the southeast corner of Kennedy Drive and Marcus Boulevard. The property is zoned light industrial. Request is a variance to reduce the minimum parking from 275 to 216 spaces. Reduce minimum parking setback from rear property line from 6 feet to 3. To eliminate the required landscape islands for a proposed 32,845 square foot one-story commercial building. And we do need the affidavits of mailing and postings.
Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chairman. I hope you can hear me okay.
I can, thank you.
My name is John Wagner. I'm an attorney with Stillman, Ballin, Adler, and Hyman. Offices of 100 Motor Parkway, Hauppauge, New York. Here tonight for the applicant Lucky Plat Equities, LLC. Lucky Plat is the owner of 350 Kennedy Drive and is proposing to construct a second 32,845.6 square foot GFA warehouse building on the southerly side of the subject property. If you'll indulge me, Madam Chairwoman, I have 5 exhibits that I'm going to refer to during my presentation. I'll give you 5 copies of each of them now, and then you'll have them before you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't know if you want. These all, yeah,
Okay.
B and C and D, okay, you want to? Okay. Yeah, pass these down. Let me give you, did everybody get one of the A? Did you all get this? Okay. This is A, yeah, pass this down, I guess. That's D. Is there 2, only 2? Oh, there's, okay, wait a minute. Here's another one you can pass down to her. Oh, boy.
You ready?
Yeah, we're getting through
I
this.
didn't mean to make work for you.
Did we get everything now? Okay. Okay. I think we got it all now.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I gave you the exhibits now because the first exhibit A is the deed which verifies Lucky Plat's ownership of the subject property. I wanted to point out to the board that as part of the reconfiguration of the parking area that we're proposing, Lucky Platt is proposing to close off 2 existing cross-access points between the subject property and the adjoining properties to the east. Now, I was approached by the attorney for the properties to the east and presented with a letter from the town whereby the town was requesting a formal written agreement between the 2 properties for the closure of those access points. So I negotiated such an agreement with the attorney for the property to the east. It's been fully signed, and a copy of that agreement is included in your package as Exhibit B, which I handed up tonight. And you'll see attached to the agreement is an Exhibit A, which actually identifies in color the 2 access points that are being closed between the 2 properties. From my applicant's perspective, the benefit of closing the access, which, by the way, has been closed for a long time by a chain link structure of some kind, is to allow us to put more parking spaces where those cross-throughs originally were and maximize the amount of parking that we can produce on the site. So the gist of the application is under the calculations of the town code, given the square footages of the existing building and the proposed building, we require, by letter of the law, 275 spaces. Of those, it breaks down to 209 spaces required for the existing building, given the mixed uses that exist in that building. And you can refer to the submitted site plan for the calculations of square footage that were used to achieve that number of 209. For the new building, which is exclusively warehouse space, and it's a 1 to 500 ratio, we're only required to produce 66 spaces. So you add the 2 numbers together, you come up with the 275. Now, I want to point out there are currently 35 spaces, existing spaces, located 3 feet from the easterly property line toward the northerly portion of the property. And what we're trying to do is we're proposing to extend that row of parking farther to the south so as to provide another 16 spaces at the same setback as the other spaces. So it's still 3 feet. And that's one of the variances we're requesting tonight, is to allow that 3-foot setback for those additional parking spaces that we'll be putting in. Exhibit C is just another copy of the revised denial. We've gone through several iterations of the denial. It's now been whittled down to 3 variance requirements in that last revision, which was dated this very month. So we're down to just the variance from 275 to 216 spaces, which we can provide on site. And that's a 59 space variance. It's roughly 21% of the requirement. So that's, in my view, not a substantial ask going that difference. But I want to point out to you also that I asked my client to do an evaluation of the existing usage of the existing parking area on the site and to determine how many of those spaces are filled on a typical workday. And as part of what I have presented to you is Exhibit D, which is a letter from Larry Pinner dated March 11th of 2025, which is why I asked him to do the analysis. And that reports essentially that there are 60 employees in the existing building, and that the usage of the spaces on site for the uses in that building range for 6 business days between March 4th to March 11th. The usage of the parking lot ranged between 45 and 57 cars. So it's not a lot. And you'll see in the 3 photos that I submitted as part of the application, you can actually see the large areas of unused parking in the existing parking lot. That there's a good example. A lot of open space there not being used by cars, and that's a typical business day. So based upon that, it appears that the ask in the town code is excessive for this particular site. So I don't think the variance is going to have much of an effect on anything because, you know, we'll be lucky if we use those spaces even for the two buildings. I also gave you as Exhibit E marked up site plan prints. I gave you that because in the building department denial, there's a reference to the landscape islands that are required by the town code. And it says that those landscape islands are being eliminated. In fact, we are providing landscape islands on the property. And I gave you that exhibit because I asked the architect to please calculate the size of those landscaped islands. We have a landscaped island at the southerly end of each of the internal rows of parking that we're proposing. And those, the sizes of those landscaped islands are 34 feet by 7 feet approximately. That's 238 square feet for each landscaped island that we're proposing. And that exceeds actually the 162 square feet required by the code, which is based on an 18 by 9 foot measurement. So I think that there's really not much of a variance, if anything, with regard to landscaped islands. Now, I'll just go down the criteria with you, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
You know, there are 5 criteria set forth in the statute. And I think the first one is whether there's an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties created by the granting of the area variance. This is a existing parking area. We're putting another parking area there. It's not. It's also should be noted that it's in the rear of the premises. There's a building between the parking area and Kennedy Drive to the north, which screens the parking area from view. There's also a very substantial line of plantings along the Marcus Boulevard side of the property. So once again, you have to really be looking for this parking lot to see it if you're anywhere in the neighborhood. And there's an existing use there. We're just reconfiguring it, so there's really no undesirable change taking place. And as I said, we will be landscaping those islands in the interior. The second factor is whether the benefit can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. And obviously, the benefit we're seeking to have is to construct this new 32,000 roughly square foot building on the southerly side of the site, which has its own parking component to it, and that's why we're here tonight. We can't construct it without the variances given the constraints of the site. However, if you look at the site plan, you'll see that this building fits in quite well on the property. There is a space for it at the southerly side. It's not overcrowding the site in any way. So I think it's appropriate to do this, even though we have no choice but to get the variance. The third factor is whether the requested area variance is substantial. As I mentioned earlier, we're only seeking a 59 space variance, or 21% of the requirement. And I think that speaks for itself. And I pointed out before that the current use of the subject property is minimal, which also adds to the unsubstantiality of the variance, or I should say non-substantiality of the variance that we're seeking. With regard to the 3-foot variance that we're seeking from the rear property line along the easterly property line of the subject property, as I said, that's a pre-existing setback that's been established for many years, and I would submit that 3 feet is not very much when it comes to a variance of the sort. The fourth factor has to do with an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. I would reiterate what I said earlier about whether there's going to be an undesirable change or not. There's really going to be no impact on the physical conditions. It's just a parking lot that's going there. It has no inherent environmental impacts other than whatever visual impact it has by being there. And as I say, it can't be viewed from the roads, the surrounding roads. So I would submit that this factor, again, militates in favor of granting the variance. Finally, the fifth requirement is whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. Well, it is self-created to the extent that we're looking to improve the property by maximizing its value, its economic value, by putting this additional building there. That is true. But, bear in mind that what we're seeking is really minimal variances in terms of substantiality, and I don't think it's going to affect the town significantly in any way, or the neighborhood for that matter. So we would, although, yes, we have self-created this, I think we should be forgiven in some sense. So, I referred you earlier to the 3 photos. I think the photos speak for themselves about what this area looks like. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure perhaps you've gone out there and viewed it yourself, but, I believe that the variance, based upon all the factors and applying the balancing test that's set forth in the statute, should be granted in total.
Thank you.
If you have any
That was-
questions, I'll be pleased to answer.
I'll ask, thank you. Gentlemen, are there any questions that you want to ask?
No, thank you.
Planning?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk again. I know you talked about it. The plantings along Marcus. You mentioned that
I'm sorry, but.
sorry, the existing landscaping along Marcus.
Yes.
That's gonna stay. or-
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
as long as it's maintained, or if it has to be removed because of the construction of the building, that it, be revegetated with new landscaping.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, the cut-through that's in there now to get in from Marcus is already there. It's substantial. We're not really proposing to widen that in any way.
Okay.
So I can't imagine that the landscaping will be
Yeah,
affected.
if you go back to the aerial, Jeff, just looks like if you zoom in to like this. Sorry, is it a touch one? You can see that there's the landscaping there. It's
Yeah.
near where like the edge of the building is, towards on like where the grass is,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So, we'd like to see that maintained if possible, if not, revegetated with new landscaping. You talked about the landscape islands not being to code.
Mhm.
We're fine with them being, reduced. Another option is if, like you said, there's a lot of parking that's not actually needed. You could land bank that area to bring the island to code, something that could be done at site plan review.
Mhm.
And then I always just like to reiterate, any architecture, it's conceptual now. It is at the discretion of Board of Site Plan Review. So
Yes.
that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you.
Sabrina?
Yes, Madam Chair. The application materials submitted state that a permit from the Department of Health was or will be obtained. We've asked the applicant to provide confirmation once the application has been submitted and any supporting documentations. We need that information in order to complete our environmental review. Therefore, no decision can be made tonight.
Thank
A letter was emailed and mailed. I don't know if you have received it yet.
I did see the letter, and I consulted with the architect about that. And there is, apparently there is a new sewer line that's available there.
Okay.
And he's exploring how that connection will work out. It
Okay.
has not been effectuated yet. His calculations are not done. I would respectfully submit that that's probably an item that will be sorted out at the site plan stage.
If you've received a sewer availability letter or some sort of documentation, you can send that to our department as well, and
I
that
will,
would
I will
be,
ask, sure.
yeah, thank you.
All right.
Okay, planning has one
I
more
just have
question for you.
I noticed
Yes.
On the south side of the proposed building, there's like a parking encroachment. Is that remaining with the neighbor to the south?
Yeah, I
It's-
know.
It looks like it's blocked off, but there's some parking that encroaches a little bit onto, because it all used to be like one owner at one time,
Yeah,
this
I
area.
believe this issue was mentioned previously in another application, maybe for the application to the south, the property to the south. was
Okay.
brought up. I think, unless I'm dreaming, I thought there was some requirement that they rectify that situation. I don't have any knowledge tonight whether it exists
Okay.
now or not.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Let me see. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on this application? Okay. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
A second.
Is ready, moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
The next case is case 19462, Arthur Vita, Location is 89 Lakeview Drive in Kings Park. It's on the southeast corner of Lakeview Drive and Riviera Drive. Property is zoned R10. The request is a variance to reduce the minimum lot area from 10,000 square feet to 6,265 square feet due to environmentally sensitive land. Reduce minimum rear yard setback from 35 feet to 23 feet for an existing single-family home.
Should we do both of them at the same time?
You can.
Madam Chair, I'd like to do both of them at the same time also. That's
Right.
okay with,
Okay, so
Yeah.
that was case 19462. The next case, 19463. Arthur Vita. Location is 89 Lakeview Drive in Kings Park. It's on the southwest corner of Highland Drive and Riviera Drive. The property is zoned R10. The request is a variance to reduce minimum lot area from 10,000 square feet to 6,169 square feet due to environmentally sensitive land. Reduce minimum rear yard setback from 35 feet to 7 feet. Increase max gross floor area of the lot from 30% to 31%. Increase the max permitted gross floor area in the LWRP from 1,543 square feet to 1,910 square feet for an existing detached garage converted to a two-story single-family dwelling.
good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tremarco. I submitted affidavits of posting and mailing on both properties to Mr. Collado. I'd like to hand up to the board an area map that we compiled to help the board visualize the area. Okay, so I guess most of you know the area of San Remo, a very beautiful area on the Nessequag River, was mapped many years ago in the late 1800s. And at the time it was mapped, obviously there was no zoning in the town of Smithtown. Zoning came into effect in 1932. Prior to 1932, many of these lots were sold. A lot of them were sold through the Italian newspaper Il Progresso. So my point being that a person could buy 20 feet by 100 feet, 40 feet by 100 feet, 80 feet by 100 feet. There was no restriction and no restriction on any type of size of a building, minimum size, maximum size. So believe it or not, there are 3 or 4 houses built on 20-foot lots. One of them is right behind Riviera Drive. I forget the name of the street, but you can see it on a 20-foot lot, and it's kind of squeezed in there, but the person still lives in the house, and it's quite unique. But anyway, getting back to my clients, if you take a look at the map we submitted, the 2 yellow highlighted lots are the Vita lots. And you see they're kind of juxtaposed in the sense that they're not even with each other. The one closest to Lakeview is, for lack of a better description, 2 lots up from the lower lot, which is on Highland. Part of it is on Highland Drive. But the purpose of the map is to show you the character of the area. So going by lot frontages and lot size, if you look at the map, the green is showing you 40-foot lots that are 4,000 square feet, and there are 36 lots of that size. If you go to the blue, there's a 60-foot frontage, 6,000, that says 600, it's a typo, it should be 6,000 square feet, and there are 19 lots of that size. Now we get to the 80-foot lots, which are generally 8,000 square feet, and there's 17 of those lots. So if you total all of those lots, there is 72 lots that are 8,000, not 800 square feet or less. Now, if you look at the number of lots that are over 8,000 square feet, there's a total, and they're not filled in any colors because they're really the rest of them. There's a total of 59 lots. So if you ask what the character of the area is, it's generally a mixed bag, but lots 8,000 square feet and smaller dominate the area. It's obvious by looking at the map. And as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words, so you can even look at it and see the numbers. So what do we want to do here? Well, these two lots that, these two parcels, I should say, that Mr. Vita owns, one has a garage with an apartment over. It's basically a house with a garage under. And we want to legalize that lot as well as the lot which contains the house. I don't know if you could, Matt, you could put the pictures up there of the two. Yeah, the brown house is the regular shaped house, and the garage under is, you can see it there, it's got a gambrel Dutch colonial roof, and that's the second parcel. I also would like to indicate to the board that anybody walking down Riviera Drive or driving down Riviera and looking at this parcel, the frontages on both of the parcels that my client owns, 43, Lot 43 and Lot 55, are over 100 feet. So from the road again and looking at it, there's compliance with the lot frontage. You don't need lot frontage of 100 feet, you only need 40 feet, but a person walking down the road would look at it, and it looks like a normal 100 by 100 lot, which that's the present zoning now, R10. So given this situation and given the fact that my clients have 8,000 square feet plus on each lot, and that's, of course, without the environmentally sensitive land, but the actual land area, each lot is over 8,000 square feet. So it's on the large size of all of the parcels that we're showing you today, or tonight. So again, if you look at the two surveys, the two-story frame residence has a setback of 11.7, and the garage under has a setback which we're asking for a variance. I think it's 7 feet. So going to the conditions, whether the variance would produce an impact on adjacent properties or the neighborhood. Again, you know, looking at the map, neither Lot 43 or Lot 55 would have an impact on the area, as this is the area. 80-foot lots are a kind of a large lot in this area and basically all over San Remo. Whether the variance is substantial. It's not substantial if you look at the maps and the San Remo area. The present zoning requirement for these parcels would be 10,000 square feet, and we're a little over 8,000 on each one. So we're well within the area, the character of the area, and we believe it's certainly not substantial. Whether the benefit could be achieved by an alternative. Well, there really isn't any alternative unless you say, okay, you got to leave these lots together And now you have a mansion lot on Riviera Drive with a frontage of 101 and 111, so it's probably 212-foot frontage. And there's nothing, I can tell you without a doubt, there's nothing on Riviera Drive that comes close to more than 100-foot frontage. Whether the variance would have an adverse effect on the environment, they're both self-contained parcels. There is no adverse effect on the environment. They both exist with the garage under and also the house, which the house was, I believe, CO'd in the 80s. Whether the difficulty was created by the applicant or the former owner, well, the applicant did first build this garage and then build the apartment basically on based on some domestic problems that the applicant had at the time, so he made an apartment above that used to be garage. But again, you can see the garage really doesn't look like a garage. It's a house with a garage under. So given the 5 factors, I think we've gone over every one of them. If you look at the surveys, there's a little pond on lot 55. Actually, it contributes to the ambience of that lot, and the setbacks are far from Riviera Drive, so they're not sitting right on the road. So we think all in all, this is a great application. We ask the board for its favorable consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Gentlemen, any questions?
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Sabrina?
Couple comments, yes. I guess I'll address the first one. I'm going to call it the Brown House. The application materials did include test hole data, not for the Brown House, but for the garage. So we need separate test hole data for both properties. So we did send an email, Mr. Tramarko, and a letter. I don't know if you've received them yet.
Sorry, when did you send the letters?
All of our documentation went out Friday.
Yeah, Friday was a bad day, I guess, because I didn't see them, but okay, I'll look at them.
And then for the other site, which I'm going to call the garage, the application materials submitted do state that a permit for the Department of Health to legalize the existing detached garage that was converted to a 2-story single-family dwelling was or will be obtained. We've asked Mr. Tramarko to please provide documentation once an application has been submitted or any supporting documentations. The test hole data that was submitted, we weren't able to pinpoint where the actual test hole was performed. It was whited out in that area, so we asked for you to resend that survey. Both sites are located within the LWRP, and we'll need that determination from the planning department, which I'm sure you are aware. And lastly, this site is also located within the New York State River Corridor, and we just want Mr. Tramarko to obtain all permits or any notification that permits are not required for the proposed work. Therefore, no decision can be made until we receive all this information for our environmental review.
I
And again, all the-
understand what DEW was saying. I think the last request was for DEC non-jurisdiction or a permit, right?
Correct, just so
Okay.
that you're aware.
We
I
will,
just got
will
to
do,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on this application? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to close the hearing, please.
I second.
Israeli moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Just give me a minute to change. I think this is 62. I think this is 63. All right. be a long night. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
The next case is case 19464, Christine Mage. Location is 20 Suttonwood Drive in Comac. It's on the east side of Suttonwood Drive, 100 feet south of Tulipwood Drive. Property is owned R10. The request is a variance to reduce the minimum rear yard setback from 50 to 39 feet for a proposed 295 square foot first floor addition, proposed 424 square foot second floor addition, and proposed 295 square foot rear deck.
Bye. Good evening. May I have your name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Tom Grasso, and I'm from 32 Rowan Street in Smithtown, New York. Madam Chair and the board, we're here to reduce the rear yard from 50 to 41. It's a angled lot. As far as it's not an undesirable change. In the area of a map that we drew, there's 26 homes. 14 have some sort of reduced yard. Whether it's a benefit to the applicant, we have a hardship. We have the husband has multiple surgeries and pins in his back, and he has another one coming. And the homeowner, Christine, who is on the deed, is a cancer survivor and is in remission. And she is looking to put an area to do charitable, which she does now. She sews in a very tight space, so she's looking, as you can see on our renderings, what she's looking to put, so she has an area to work. We are also, there's one change to the application, which I'm going to let Stephen, who is the architect, speak about. We are taking one of the rooms and we're creating a closet, because you could see the existing rooms as they are now don't have a closet. It's an empty nest. There's just the two of them. None of their kids live in the state, and they're only here. They're snowbirds, so they're in Florida half of the time because the cold doesn't really help them here. So I'm going to introduce Stephen Bullock.
I just one question on, I just want to make sure we can do this before you go forward.
Yes. So as far as environmental conditions and the neighborhood,
That wasn't, we're talking about the posting, the
oh, okay,
sign. So you want to just come up for a second?
sure.
Thank you.
You're gonna laugh.
Okay, so, and whether it was self-created, no, it hasn't been built yet, so it's not self-created. At this time, I'm going to let Stephen go over. Go ahead, Steve.
Let me have your name and address, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Yeah.
My name is Stephen Bullock,
Spell your last name.
Bullock, like Sandra Bullock, but she's better looking.
And your address, please.
366 Broadway, Amityville, New York.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Madam Chairman, and members of the board and planning board. I'm with Maurice Adu Architectural Planning Services Corporation. I'm the junior partner of the firm. Our objective here was to take care of a need for this couple. In the case as stated with Christine Mega, she did go through cancer and still dealing with certain issues related to it. At times when she's not feeling well, she has trouble sometimes going upstairs at times. As a result, this is a split-level home where the living room is actually a whole flight of stairs up. It's not on ground level. As a result, when she's not feeling well, she likes to be able to rest, and thus the first floor addition, first level, allows her to have a living space without having to go up the flight of stairs. And that would provide that for her. In the case of her husband, when not feeling well, the same thing with Ed Mack, he can then be downstairs and not go up the flight of stairs when they're not feeling well. There's also in the plan a shower being added to a half bath that's already legal, original to the house. That half bath allows them that if they're not feeling well, they can use that shower and then rest, and when they feel better, go upstairs. That's the only reason for the shower being added. In this case, the second floor, what Christine does as a person, she worked as a school teacher for many years and a school administrator, given the community. She's retired. And what she does, her passion and love, is she actually makes blankets for children suffering or dying of cancer for St. Jude. She also supplies blankets for little children of local hospitals of this area. And that's a very loving thing. I don't know if you're familiar with quilting, but it's very time-consuming, highly detailed. And she tries to do that in a little room on the second floor, and there's no room to spread that out because that room is only 9 feet. As a result, she wanted a room where she could take her fabric supplies that are in containers in the basement that's unfinished, unheated, move it upstairs, put it in a storage closet, and have a room, which is in the renderings I've provided to the board, that she can have layout tables, put the little children's names on them, stitch them in, and make these packages, which Ed lovingly provides and ships and hand delivers them to the kids. So that's the reason for the first and second floor addition. This particular property, I supplied a area map that provides houses in the area. Of 26 houses, 14 of them are less than the lot zoning requirements. Of that zoning requirement, we find that there are numerous properties that have these setbacks. This case, particular for this subject property, the distance from the rear addition, far left, looking at it, is 39 feet 2 inches. That's the narrowest part of the slope of the back of the property. To the middle section, which is the end of the rear addition, it jumps up to 41 feet 10 inches. And to the end of the deck, to the far right, 44 feet 8 inches. We are in compliance with height. We're in compliance with side yard aggregate. We're in compliance with both side yards and front yard. We're in compliance with height. We're not going higher. Actually, the new addition is lower than the existing roof ridge line. What we're asking for relief and consideration for this particular one will do the following. There's no change of characteristics of the community. The actual distance from the neighbor, talking about diagonally and side by side. The neighbor from the face of the house to the right is 26 feet away. If looking at the face of the house to the far left, that neighbor is 44 feet away. The neighbor diagonally to the back, to the left corner, at about 30 degree and 45 degree, is from the existing house 87 feet away. With the addition, it'll be 72 feet away. We are able to, with that consideration of addition, we're in the lot area coverage area. Right now, the existing house is 1,400 square feet. The lot happens to be 10,204 square feet, 0.35 to be exact. We also have in this area, we're below the 30%. So with the addition, we're at 19.46%. So we're allowed to go up to 30%. We're at 19.46. The new addition added with the deck would make this grow to a lot area of 1,986.31. So we're still in compliance and far below the lot area coverage as well. Any questions about the use, purpose, or intent?
Gentlemen, any questions about the use? Okay, planning?
No, thank you.
Sabrina?
Yes, Madam Chair. DEW has identified that the application may require Health Department for adding a potential bedroom, i.e. the sewing or hobby room in the eyes of the Health Department. We did send the applicant a letter. We need that information in order to complete our environmental review, so no decision can be made tonight. Letter was emailed and mailed. I'm not sure if you've received it yet.
I have not received the hard copy letter. I did receive the email,
Okay.
electronic one.
Yes.
I have already registered with Health Department. It's already
Okay.
uploaded drawings.
Okay.
There is a modification of the drawings for the board, which I have here for you,
Okay.
that shows the layout.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay. It's not a matter of, so thank you for that, and this will be submitted to, for the record? Yes. Well, I'm asking, will it? Thank you. Okay. So we're just following the Health Department guidelines, and because the house was built before 1973, which is I believe it was 1966, and there's any increase in the number of bedrooms, we have to refer you to the Health Department.
I understand. This modification here actually reduces the number of bedrooms. because
Okay,
of
I
the
haven't
change.
fully looked at it all the way yet, but I will take a look at it, and we will get back to you if we need any more information. But no
And I-
decision can be made tonight until, we can't just do a secret on the spot,
I underst-
unfortunately.
I understand.
But thank you for supplying the additional information.
I understand.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your consideration and time.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on this application? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing. Greatly moved in second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Tell you, see Tony Glass up there? See Tom Bradford?
As long as it doesn't change the.
Had him in first grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Next case is case 19465, Richard Albano. Location is 227 Edgewood Avenue in Smithtown. It's on the north side of Edgewood Avenue, 398 feet east of Landing Avenue. Property is owned R43. The request is a variance to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 60 feet to 32 feet, permit a fence wall berm greater than 4 feet in the required front yard, and increase the max height of a fence from 6 feet to 8 feet for an existing entrance gate with pillars.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tremarco. I represent the applicant. I've submitted the affidavits of posting and mailing to Mr. Collado. I guess most of you know where this mansion is. It's on Edgewood Avenue. between 25A and, I guess Jericho Turnpike is the whole Edgewood Avenue. But when you're riding along and you look to the left, before the school, you see this particular site. And a little story behind it is, and I'll make it brief, is that my client bought it about 7 or 8 years ago. There was a fire, and he completely redid the house. And he stayed within all the plans and specifications of the original house, except obviously for electricity and other modern conveniences. Actually, the house was one of the Smith houses, and it was originally built in the 1840s. It's called Ebo Hill, EBO Hill. And a little research that I did tells me that there was an Indian boy, I guess I should say Native American boy, that played on a hill where this property is. So the Smith family named the estate Ebo Hill. Again, if you look at the pictures, it's a very beautiful, it's one of the few mansions left in Smithtown. Of course, this was all redone, but my client did try to stay, with the original plans and designs. Okay, so the variances, you'll see there's a low wall, and that's about 32 feet from the property line, the front property line. And then you follow the wall around each side of the driveway, I should say the entranceway here, and it gradually gets higher, but when it surpasses 4 feet, and the columns that we're referring to are the ones that I guess hold the gates, and the gates are the other variance from 6 foot to 8 foot, and I think the columns are a little over 6 feet. This is strictly ornamental. I've never seen the gates close. I don't even know if they close, but it certainly adds to the beauty of the property. I just like the board to bear in mind that this is not in a development somewhere where it would be intrusive on any neighbors. It's on Edgewood Avenue and reasonably far away from other residences. So we don't think that this would produce an impact on adjacent properties or the neighborhood. Again, this is basically ornamental in nature, and we really think it goes with the whole ambiance. I used that word twice tonight. Ambiance of the whole mansion effect. Whether the variance is substantial, not when you look at a property that the house is set back over 200 feet and the gates are at, I think it was 32 feet. Whether the benefit can be achieved by an alternative, well, I guess you could remove the gates or cut them down, but you wouldn't even see them if you were driving and they were 6 feet high driving along. And I think a lot of people appreciate the estate. During Christmas time, it's all lit up and it's really very beautiful. Whether the variance would have an adverse effect on the environment, these are stone pillars and wrought iron gates, so I don't see any adverse effect on the environment. Whether the difficulty was created by the applicant. Well, the applicant did build that wall. You can see the small wall running all along the frontage of the property. It turns into the entranceway and gradually gets higher. But it, and I guess what the applicant thought, and I kind of agree with him, is it really has a good effect on the entranceway and makes the whole mansion appearance beautiful. So we ask the board for its favorable consideration. Thank you.
Gentlemen, any questions?
No, thank you.
Planning.
This application is pending LWRP, and I believe it should be ready for the next town board meeting. And I agree with Mr. Tremarco. I mean, it is a black estate-style fence. It does, enhance the historic character of this property and that area. It's not just like a solid 8-foot. That's my comments.
Thank you. Sabrina?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on this application? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
I second.
It's rarely moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
The next case is case 19466, Jason Cutler. The location is 14 Tower Lane in Comac. It's on the east side of Tower Lane, 350 feet north of White Birch Lane. The property is zoned R10. The request is a variance to reduce the minimum rear yard setback from 50 feet to 41 feet for a proposed 354 square foot rear one-story addition. Reduce total side yard setback from 28 feet to 25 feet for a proposed 30 square foot shed.
Yeah, have your name, please.
Hi, Jason Cutler.
And your address?
I'm the owner of 14
Okay,
Tower Lane.
thank you.
So we're proposing to add like it said, a rear one-story addition to the back of our house, just to have additional family space and like a formal dining area. We didn't realize the house was gonna end up being too small for us after our daughter was born, so we just need some of that additional space. I don't think that this is going to have an undesirable change, to the neighborhood or the nearby properties. It's still, there's still a decent amount of space between the back of our the house with the addition and our posterior neighbors, and to the side, there's also the variance for that. It's a small change because we're moving a shed from one side to the other, but I don't think it should really impact them. I don't think that there's really another method for us to kind of achieve what we want to do other than, potentially move. And we really like the neighborhood and the house, and we want to kind of stay where we are. I don't think the requested, area variance is substantial. We're adding a room to the back of the house, but it actually puts our kind of living area where we spend most of our time further away from the adjacent property to our left, really where their outside deck and their outside area are. And to the back of us, we have very high hedges. No one can really see into our yard. There's already, patio and pool and stuff that's closer to that property that we spend time during the summer. So I don't think it should really disrupt anyone. It shouldn't have any, environmental impact either. And I suppose the difficulty was self-created. We want to have a certain amount of extra space. We want to stay in the area where we like the neighborhood, and that's really it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, any questions?
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Sabrina?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on this application? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Regularly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
The next case is case 19467, Peter Grosso. Location is 13 Graham Place in Esconset. It's on the west side of Graham Place, 250 feet north of Margaret Avenue. Property is owned R10. The request is a variance to add to a lawful non-conforming structure for an existing begun prior 685 square foot first floor interior alterations and existing 490 square foot second floor alterations.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Nicholas Rashan of All In Asset Management. I'm here as the contractor, and I've supplied with a power of attorney for Peter Grasso. RECCHION. No problem. We are requesting an area variance under Section 32275A. Because this is a pre-existing non-conforming lot, the property has long existed as a single-family home, and it remains to stay a single-family residence. The work performed not increasing the blue building footprint, and it did not increase the lot coverage of the property. First off, as one of your questions, there is no undesirable change to the neighborhood. The home remains consistent in scale and character with the surrounding residents, and there has been no expansion of the footprint or change to the residence nature of the property, as most of these properties in the neighborhood are roughly 8,000 square foot, as this property is as well. Second, the benefit sought could not be reasonably achieved by an alternative that avoided a variance, given the existing structure and the limitation of this non-conforming lot. Maintaining the previous wall height would have resulted in a significant less functional space without any corresponding benefit to the neighborhood. The only thing that we're changing on the property is the wall height of the second story. It previously was a Cape-style home. We have raised we are raising the side walls of the exterior walls. This is only to create a better livable space for the home, as the second-story bedrooms were 40% of the bedroom was not height. The height was not consistent. Third, while the height change may appear noticeable, it is not substantial in zoning terms. The structure remains within the applicable height limits and does not create any new setback encroachments. We didn't raise the height of the ridge or anything like that. Fourth, there's no adverse environmental impact because the footprint of the home was not expanded, and there is no changes to drainage, impervious coverage, or surrounding conditions. Finally, while the improvements were made to the existing structure, the underlying difficulty arises from the pre-existing non-conforming condition of the lot, not from any change in use or intensity. The goal was to improve the usability and longevity of the home in a responsible way.
Okay, thank you so much. Gentlemen, any questions? Planning.
Yeah, could you just come up to us 1 second? So this has to be notarized the date of the hearing, because you're swearing that you posted the sign 5 days before the hearing, so.
Yes, which clearly you did post
Yeah.
at least 5 days before, but that's why we need it, because it says it was posted at least 5 days before, so you need to do it the day of the hearing. So if you can you bring in one tomorrow that's revised tomorrow morning?
No.
That's fine. That's
Sorry.
okay. Yeah, it's just technicality, so as long as you can bring it tomorrow morning, done, it shouldn't be an issue.
And have today's date.
Yes.
Is there anyone here, did I ask her that already? Is there anyone here that'd like to be heard on the application? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
So, moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you so much.
The next case is case 1-19368 CP iOS Acquisitions LLC. Location is 190 Town Line Road in Kings Park. It's on the east side of Town Line Road, 1,907 feet south of Old Northport Road in Kings Park. The property is zoned light industry. The request is a special exception to permit a trucking station, special exception to permit outdoor storage, variance of a special exception to allow the outdoor storage area to exceed gross floor area from 1 to 67 times the gross floor area. Variance of a special exception standard to reduce the minimum setback for outdoor storage from 100 feet to 0 feet, and to reduce the densely planted buffer from 100 feet to 50 feet. Variance of a special exception standard to increase the height of outdoor storage from 6 feet to 10 feet. Variance of a special exception standard to eliminate the full enclosure of the outdoor storage area by 6-foot high solid wood fence. Variance of a special exception standard of no loading or unloading from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. Variance to increase the max height of a fence from 6 feet to 10 feet. Reduce minimum required parking from 56 to 30 spaces. Reduce minimum parking setback from front property line from 50 feet to 0 feet. Reduce minimum parking setback from side property line from 6 feet to 0 feet. Reduce minimum parking setback from rear property line from 6 feet to 0 feet. Reduce minimum width of drive aisle from 24 feet to 22 feet. To eliminate the required landscape islands and parking areas at the end of rows for proposed 3,500 square foot one-story building.
Is that it?
Okay.
Okay. Garrett Gray, Weber Law Group, 290 Broad Hollow Road, Melville, GRAY. I know you're sick of seeing me on this application, but my feeling is if you're not sick of Vinnie Trimarco by now, you're never going to get sick of me. I know that was a long recitation of variances. We're only here on 2 issues, as I will explain. Again, I represent CPIOS Acquisitions, Real Estate Holding Company, wholly owned by Dolphin Industrial. Because we've already had a hearing on this application, I won't waste your time describing the property, the surrounding area. Suffice it to say, this 6-acre site is located at 190 Town Line Road in Kings Park, is completely industrial, and will be used as an outdoor storage yard. We do appreciate the opportunity to resubmit our request for a limited rehearing of our application, the decision of which was issued on or about October 1st, 2025. This decision adopted all of the recommendations of the planning staff as set forth in its August 8th, 2025 planning report. Unfortunately, we did not receive a copy of this planning report in time to meet with planning staff to alleviate their concerns regarding 3 specific variances. We therefore requested a rehearing of the board's denial of applicant's request for these 3 specific variances, which are 1, increasing the maximum height of stone walls from 6 feet to 10 feet, 2, reducing the minimum width of a drive aisle from 24 to 20 feet, and 3, reducing the minimum required parking from 56 to 30 spaces. No other aspects of the board's decisions are being challenged or discussed here today. Since the time that this board approved our rehearing request, we finally had the opportunity to meet with Matt Collado and Liam Trotta of the Planning Department to go over the August 8th planning report. As a result of that meeting, we no longer are requesting a variance for increasing the maximum height of stone walls from 6 feet to 10 feet. This was resolved by our agreement to raise the grade for those walls presently exceeding 6 feet, as they only exceed 6 feet by a de minimis amount. The 8 by 8 foot 9 inch wall will be cut down to a maximum height of 6 feet. This could have been taken care of earlier if we had the time to meet with planning about this report, but you take what you can. With regard to the drive aisle, this is the drive aisle along the north side of the property. We explained to planning that the particular drive aisle in question, the planning report adopted by this board recommended denial of the variance in order to, quote, provide adequate space for 2-way traffic. However, given the nature and use of the site, we advise planning that it is the extremely rare occasion that cars will be traveling both ways on this drive aisle at the same time. Again, this is an outdoor storage site, not a bustling office or a warehouse. The cost to add the extra 2 feet of drive aisle, when the goal stated by planning won't be affected by the addition of these 2 feet, simply doesn't make sense, and this variance should have been granted. On a related note, we also advised planning that we would request that condition number 4 be modified to delete drive aisles and pavement. That's the condition that requires it 6 feet setback from the property line. The northern drive aisle in question presently extends to the property line and has been in existence for years. A condition requiring applicant to have this drive aisle meet the minimum 6-foot setback would require the costly ripping up of approximately 5,640 square feet of pavement and shifting the drive aisle south by 6 feet, which would alter the entire site plan. based on the industrial nature of the entire area, as well as the fact that the owner of the property to the north has materials extending to his property line, we strongly believe that this condition should be modified as requested, and so advised planning. In response, planning advised that they were also concerned about a fire engine being able to access the site through this 20-foot drive aisle. They requested that we speak to Chief Fire Marshal Nick DeFalis, who advised that we should meet with Fire Marshal Matt Rea, who is Islip's fire marshal in charge of plan review. We scheduled a meeting with Fire Marshal Rea for January 16th, and I sent him a copy of the plan in advance, asking him to pay attention to the northerly drive aisle. At that meeting, Fire Marshal Rea advised that he was fine with the 20-foot drive aisle width, both at the entrance to the site and along the entire drive aisle, as 20 feet is the minimum width specified in the fire code. He also had no issue with the 0-foot setback from the property line, and also commented that he was happy to see the location of the closest hydrant to the property, which is almost in front of the property on Town Line Road. The fact that there is virtually no chance of two cars traveling in opposite directions along the drive aisle, coupled with the fact that Islip's own fire marshal has no issue with the drive aisle, should hopefully allay all concerns, and this variance should be granted. The second and final variance for which we sought a rehearing is the parking variance to reduce minimum parking from 56 spaces to 30 spaces. As this is an outdoor facility, the number of parking spaces that will be used is well below the 30 spaces provided. As I emphasized both to this board and to planning, this outdoor storage yard is somewhat akin to a self-storage warehouse, where items may be left for long periods of time until they are needed, thus requiring a much lower number of parking spaces. For example, an expert witness has testified at a different hearing that a 110,000 square foot self-storage warehouse, practically speaking, would only require 5 parking spaces. People don't park for long periods of time. They come when something is needed, thus requiring a much lower number of parking spaces. This board, in case number 18971, while granting a special permit for a trucking station and outdoor storage to a property located at 2 Old Northport Road, also the address, 2 Old Northport Road, also granted a parking variance from 48 spaces to 38 spaces, which is quite similar to the variance we are requesting. It is also important to note that the layout set forth in our site plan is conceptual in nature, as it will ultimately be determined by client need. Planning had asked us for a proposed layout, so we came up with one that would maximize, if you will, the parking variance needed in order that we did not have to keep coming back to this board every time we signed on a new tenant. Therefore, the actual number of parking spaces required may prove to be much less, but in any event, it's always going to be less than the 30 spaces that we've provided. I'm prepared to answer any questions you may have. As I said, we want to be a good neighbor. We've worked with the town to come up with a project that works for the area, that makes sense, and is something the town needs. As far as the 5 factors, an undesirable change will it be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties created by granting these 2 variances? Absolutely not. All these properties along Town Line Road in this area, if you've driven by it, have heavy outdoor storage, have no side, rear setbacks. Things come right up to the property line. It's keeping in character with the neighborhood. The benefits sought cannot be achieved by any other means because this access road is already there. And moving it is ridiculously cost prohibitive and serves no purpose because the only 2 factors ever brought to our attention, two-way traffic is non-existent and fire access has already been approved by the fire marshal. The requested area variance is substantial. We're just looking for a few feet off the 24 feet requirement. It's not substantial at all. Will the proposed variance have nor is the parking variance really going to be under 30. the proposed variance have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood, it would actually not granting it would have a negative effect on the environment because we'd have to bring in heavy machinery to chop up the road, relay hot asphalt, wait for it to dry. The environment will be fine by granting these variances. And is the difficulty self-created? Well, this is what we were presented with. You know, the Smithtown Parking Code unfortunately does not have a parking classification for outdoor storage sites. I'm not sure if Smithtown has a classification for self-storage warehouse sites. It may. Many towns have recently adopted these sites at 1 per 1,000, and you have Riverhead, which has a 1 per 5,000 for parking for self-storage. So we're handcuffed to use the regular parking classifications that are currently found in the code. So that's my presentation. I hope we're not going to see each other again on this.
Let's see. All right,
thank
does
you.
anyone here, gentlemen, do you have any questions, first of all? Planning.
Just a few comments. I mean, we didn't prepare a planning advisory report for this. We weren't sure if this is something the board wanted based on the new evidence or not. I will say we did have a meeting with Garrett. I'm happy to see that he met with the fire marshal. If they're not using it for two-way traffic, you know, I believe the 20-foot sufficient as long as, you know, you're not parking vehicles on that. You're not putting storage on it. It's got to remain open at all times.
It will.
You talked about the walls, about raising the grades on those, so you won't need the variance,
Correct.
the relief for that anymore. And then what was the last one? The parking, the 56 to 30. I know we spoke. Was there any like feasibility of modifying the parking design just to show that you could get the 56? I understand the site, you know, functions.
I mean, the unfortunate thing is that this site, I will call it, is in flux based on the tenants that we sign for the renting the space. So we don't know exactly what the configuration is going to be.
Okay, I just pointed that because you had the
Sure.
45-foot wide drive aisle, you know, and the parking all the way to the west. I thought maybe if it was reconfigured, you could provide more, but those are just my comments. I mean, there's no secret tonight, so I don't think any decision can be.
No, our secret's the same.
It's the same, okay. So it's up to you guys on how you want to proceed. Actually, I think you need the 5 board members. So being that there's only 4 of you.
Yeah, wait a minute, does Sabrina, you have anything, Sabrina?
No comments.
What do you call it? You're going to do another report, right?
I was going to leave it up to the board if they wanted us. I don't know if you need a full-blown PAR or if you just wanted some comments. I was going to kind of leave it up to the board to see what direction they want to go in. We don't normally get too many rehearings.
Okay, I don't think we'll have any action tonight, but then
Well,
you can provide us with anything that you need for the next meeting?
Yeah, we could probably put something together.
Okay.
Whether it's next meeting or the following meeting.
All
But
right.
yeah, I mean, you need the 5, you need the unanimous vote. So
Right.
no decision.
Yeah,
It would be denied technically if they all
right,
No,
voted.
no, we're fine waiting.
Yeah. So.
yeah.
Good. All right. Can I have a motion?
Is there anyone here that want to be heard on this application? Hearing, now, entertain a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Rayleigh moved in second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Thanks very much. Have a good night.
You're very welcome.
Oh, Garrett. Can you read dates, please? To today's date. Just give us another one. Is it supposed to be 22nd or not? Is it notarized? It would be better. if Oh, it was wrong?
Okay. And that closes the hearings for tonight. Action? Case 19460, no action. Case 19461, no action. Case 19462, no action. Case 19463, no action. Case 19464, no action. Case 19465, no action. Okay, next is going to be you. Case 9466.
I move to approve this application as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. 4-0. You have a second also. Okay. Case 19467.
I move to approve this application as presented.
Do I have a second?
Aye, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried 4-0. Case 19468, withdrawal. Case 19469, adjourned to February 24th, I'm sorry, February 24th. Case 19368, no action. Okay, now, on the back, case 19451, Oakdale Building Group. Okay,
You need to do
no
findings for
action.
this? This is, you're thinking of, old dock, broken dock.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
So,
What?
just a quick
Wrong case.
update, the reason why this one was held over was they submitted revised grading and drainage plans to the
Okay.
engineering department, and they found it generally acceptable, so.
All right,
Um,
thank you.
yep.
You can, would you, right here.
broken dock.
Oak-
Right. Is that the
Oakwood
one
Building Group.
Isn't that, the one-
Oakwood, this is the one, if Jeff, if you pull up it's off Plymouth Boulevard. There's actually two cases, they went kind of, together.
Right. There are two
Confusing.
cases, right?
Oh,
One
yeah,
is
that-
Green,
yeah.
Green Tree Court, both of them are on Green Tree Court.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm. It's it's a subdivision under construction, yeah.
All right, so can you do this one and then the other one, please?
I move to approve this application as presented.
Do I have a
I
second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
On the 19451, approved.
To approve this application as presented.
Okay, on 19458, do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, then we have 19456. Is that Nicholas?
So one, we're not sure if everybody, we have enough.
Oh, okay.
This was heard last meeting, right?
Yes. The last one was last week.
This is the detached garage?
Nicole
that
Montelli.
Everybody just ignore me tonight.
Yeah, that was last,
Okay,
this is the
can
one.
we have enough to do that?
So, yeah, this was last meeting, so you could do it with the four of you guys. I know the big thing was the 20-foot height for the detached garage.
Didn't we approve it only to 17 feet?
I think it was 17 or 18. I don't remember what you guys talked about. I thought it was 18.
I didn't bring my notes.
I have it here.
Do you? I made the motion, I have to see what I did.
Yeah. Is this the one that you want to?
Oh, my.
19456.
I believe it was 18 feet.
Huh?
Waiting for the engineer to review the drainage plans. Right.
Yeah, no, we approved, yeah, that's not. Yeah.
This is 19456, Nicole Martinelli.
Yeah, I'm looking for the case now.
So if you want to re-enter in
What?
for Tony, so we can confirm the numbers, we can write up something, if that, because it's not exactly what they asked for. It's up to you.
Yeah. Let's wait a minute. I'm pretty sure. $18 feet? Okay. Just want to make sure.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay, John's note says 18 feet. So do you want to wait until next meeting to,
I mean, it's up to you, we can write it up then that way, because you're not giving them exactly what they asked for, you go with the minimum variance necessary.
okay. All right, we'll do that then.
Four, five, six, here's,
And for 18,
there it
right?
is. Right here in the index.
Yeah.
I don't find that. That's it.
Okay, and the next one is Kevin Daly. Is that, that's for 6 months? 19379, Kevin Daly is for an extension. Can you approve, everyone is all right with the extension? Gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay. We take a motion to approve the extension, please?
I move to approve the
Extension,
extension as requested.
yeah.
I second.
All right, all in favor? Aye, motion carried. Okay, I think that concludes everything.